The red dress. I never imagined I'd end up like this. I had always been the devoted wife, the ideal mother, the kind of woman who put her family above all else. For 10 years. That was my identity, but then... a single red dress shattered everything. It began on a quiet afternoon in March. I found a receipt from a luxury lingerie store in the pocket of my husband's coat. At first, I didn't think much of it. Maybe it was a surprise gift for me. I thought, even though my birthday had passed 2 weeks ago and he hadn't given me anything, I kept making excuses. That night, I discovered the dress in his car trunk. Red, brand new, tag still on. The scent of a perfume I'd never worn lingered on the fabric. He never mentioned it, never brought it home. Never said a word. I didn't confront him, I waited. I installed a tracker on his phone, something I'd never even considered before. Every Tuesday night, he went to an apartment in District 7. I hired a private investigator. A week later, I had a stack of photos, my husband, hand in hand with a young woman in her mid-20s. Walking out of that apartment, she was laughing, eyes sparkling like she knew she had won. I didn't cry. Oddly, I felt empty. Like my soul had been sucked out and all that remained was a shell of a woman pretending everything was fine. So I made a plan. I'm not weak. I have a master's degree in psychology. I used to be a university lecturer before I gave it up for family life. I understand human behavior. And I knew forgiveness wasn't what I wanted. I wanted clarity. I wanted control. I found her. She had signed up for a marketing seminar. I attended too. Her name was Ingi C. Pretty. Confident. Platinum blonde hair. Blood red lips. When I introduced myself, she didn't recognize me as the wife of her lover. We bonded. I told her I had just gone through a divorce. That my husband cheated. That I needed someone to talk to. She welcomed the connection. She even told me about the man she was seeing, a married man. He says his wife is cold, detached, she said, sipping wine. You know, sometimes I really feel bad for him. I smiled, nodded. I didn't need to say anything. I just needed her to keep talking. I don't know what I felt: disgust, hatred, sorrow, or just numbness. But I'd never felt this cold. I didn't want a divorce. I wanted him to face the truth. I wanted to see his world crack open. I wanted him to choose. I installed hidden cameras in our home and sent her a clip, one of me and my husband together. I wanted her to know she was the other woman, not the main act. A week later, she broke up with him. I knew because he started spiraling, drinking, staying out late, snapping at the smallest things. One night, he shattered a bedside lamp. I watched him silently, then he confessed. Sitting across from me, tears streamed down his face, something I hadn't seen since our wedding day. I'm sorry. He choked. I was stupid. I got carried away. But now, I've lost everything. I asked, what about me? He looked down. I didn't forgive him. But I didn't leave either. I gave him an ultimatum: move out, live alone, reflect on himself. If, after a year, he still wanted to come back, we'd talk. Meanwhile, I went back to work. Sent the kids to live with my mother. Reclaimed myself. A year later, he returned, thinner. Grayer, I still want to be your husband. A father to our children, he said. I have nothing left but this family. I didn't respond right away. I was no longer the woman I had been 10 years ago, waiting at home for her husband to come back to dinner. I had changed. I had survived. I looked at him and for the first time, I saw how small he really was. I haven't forgiven him. Maybe I never will. But I opened the door. Not for him but for myself. For the woman who walked through betrayal and didn't crumble.